Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time to go bananas because Donkey Kong Bonanza is finally here. Donkey Kong Bonanza feels like what the launch game should have been, but you know, better late than never. Not only will this be a review of the game, but also, just stuff you need to know so you can get started on your adventure. Let's go ahead and get right into this video. Yeah, Donkey Kong shirt on, and I am fired up. I am ready to go. Also, check out these cool stickers that just came in of Donkey Kong and Peach racing, but they're my characters. And then I also had another version of my logo made as Donkey Kong. Can't you see I'm fired up for this damn game? I am so excited. Also, side note, tonight I will be streaming this game probably around 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time is when I'll start. If we can break our stream record and get at least 50 viewers, I think the record right now is 45, I'm going to give away a copy of the game. So come hang out if you could. Now, before we get started, if you could, hit a like and subscribe. That would truly mean the world to me. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep our amazing communities growing. And let's get into this long-awaited video. So whenever I review a game that has a little bit of history, I like to, well, give you the history. Donkey Kong initially started as an arcade game, all the way back in 1981, and I mean, that's crazy. 40 years later, and we're still talking about, this monkey. My favorite Donkey Kong game of all time is Donkey Kong Country, and this released in 1994 and still holds up till this day. The first 3D Donkey Kong game we got was Donkey Kong 64, and that came out in 1999. Now all the way in 2025, we are getting a new 3D Donkey Kong game, and I mean, spoiler alert, this is the best Donkey Kong game of all time now. And that's really saying something. Off the top of your head, you might not think there's too many Donkey Kong games, but I mean, I was actually surprised how many there was as well. It turns out there's something like 20 million Donkey Kong games. I wouldn't quote me on that number, but I'm sure it's close to that. But the one we're all here to talk about is Donkey Kong Bonanza. So when I was watching gameplay or early trailers of the game, one thing I was curious about is the movement. He looks like he's moving around pretty quickly. One thing I thought would be tedious to me is just destroying everything, because I would have felt like maybe I missed something here, or you get into a flow and you think, okay, even though I'm finding my flow in this game and I'm finding my way I want to play, maybe I missed something, so I should go back, and then that might get you in a different headspace. And I was just one of those people who thought that could be an issue. But I gotta say right away, from the very moment you start playing, it all just makes sense. Like when Donkey Kong is running around, it almost feels like he's floating or coasting around. I've been skateboarding my entire life, and it's the same feeling as just skating through a skate park. Everything just kind of makes sense and you go with a flow. I'm using flow a lot. I don't think I've ever said flow this many times in my life. What's great is there's other mechanics too. Like quite a few mechanics. I was actually pretty surprised. And it keeps it very fun and exciting and fresh. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta destroy everything. And like I was saying, I was thinking that could be tedious, but it's something that becomes almost addicting, because just like in Tears of the Kingdom, how, there's really no point A to point B, it's just get there how you can get there. It feels the same way in this. Like sometimes I felt like I might have went the wrong way or not the right way to get somewhere, but I still got there and it didn't matter. And I really, really appreciate that about this game, that you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. I hate to repeat what everybody else is saying, but to keep it simple, it really does feel like a mixture of Mario Odyssey mechanics and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, not a one-to-one comparison of those games, but it feels like that was the recipe, and they added some other stuff, and they came out with DK Bonanza. Instead of waiting to the end, I'm going to get a couple issues right out of the way, because they're the only issues I really had. And one of them I do not care about at all. I know I probably should, especially with Nintendo's new console, the Switch 2. I mean, I've played some horrible games in my day that I'm not supposed to enjoy, and I absolutely love them. And they look just horrendous, So it's not a big issue to me. But sometimes when you're breaking a million things or you're diving down, you can see some frame rate problems. Like I was saying, it is not an issue at all to me. And the other one is sometimes the camera can get a little wonky, especially when you're digging down or making a little tunnel and you kind of get backed into that tunnel, and then you're trying to think, okay, should I go up? Should I go back this way? And you're turning around. Sometimes the camera just it just almost zooms in and gets this weird angle, or sometimes you can actually like see through the wall and there's nothing there. I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes the camera can just get a little wonky when you're like digging holes. And that is truly the only issues I even found. And if that's the only issues, then boy oh boy are we in for a masterpiece, and this game is a damn masterpiece. In Super Mario Odyssey, you needed to collect a certain amount of power moons to advance to the next level. And you know, it was pretty easy to get through each level, and then you could come back and get more power moons. You do collect Banandiums, and that's like the same thing as power moons, but you don't need to collect a certain number to advance to the next level, or in this case, I believe the levels are called layers. But when you collect 5 of them, you will get a skill point, and then you can obviously like level up certain abilities or mechanics, but you don't need to collect a certain amount to advance to the next layer. It's all tied to the story pretty much, and I do appreciate that, because me personally, I'm not the biggest like collectathon person, or I enjoy it, but not when it's something I have to do. It's something that I want to do, if that makes sense. Now, a major part of this game is Pauline, and I am so happy that Pauline is back, because, you know, Pauline and Donkey Kong, that goes all the way back to the arcade games. Now, even though she is a side character, she feels just as important as Donkey Kong, because her singing is a main mechanic in this game, and she does all of the talking. So even though, you know, Donkey Kong is the focus point, the entire game that I've played so far, Pauline feels like an equal character and an equally important part, and I absolutely love how they found that balance. Going back to the gameplay, anybody who's played Super Mario Odyssey will feel right at home. I enjoyed, or I guess remember enjoying, DK64. Maybe to be a little bit controversial, I don't think the game aged that well. Now, you know, Mario 64 and Mario Kart and Smash and Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, some of those games actually aged incredibly well. I don't think DK64 did that. You know, it feels great to have a new 3D Donkey Kong, and I know it's not like the first time ever, but it almost feels like that. Like, this is what it could have been and should have been, and I'm glad Nintendo waited until a Nintendo Switch 2. I know this was technically going to be a Nintendo Switch game, and then they started to wait to the Switch 2, but what a way to come back. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember during, I think, the Tokyo Olympics or sometime, Nintendo showed their big 5 characters, and it was Mario, Link, Pikmin, Splatoon, and Animal Crossing. I believe that was the 5. After DK Bananza and moving forward and seeing where 3D Donkey Kong is at now and could potentially go, somebody's going to have to come up off that list, man, and I really don't know who. Unless Nintendo wants to add more characters, but I think having the big 5 is very important because it helps you gauge where Nintendo is currently, or where Nintendo sees their franchises currently, and I can't think of a reason why Donkey Kong would not currently be on that list. I know this video is all over the place, but I want to go back to the layers again, or technically levels. In some games, you know, you'll have some levels that start off strong, then in the middle of the game, they're like, okay, it's, you know, it's still the game, but it's not as exciting as it was. And then you get to the end of the game, and you can feel that the end of the game is coming up because the levels get good again. So far from what I've played, each layer is incredible and gets better and better, and you cannot wait to see what is happening next, or what you can smash through in a wall, or what you can dig down through, or what you're going to find, or what new mechanic you're going to use, or what NPCs you're going to find, or what enemies you're going to fight. It is so exciting every single time. Quickly, I'll touch on the power-ups. They are absolutely goofy, like some of the goofiest things I have ever seen, and I mean that in the best way possible. It seems like Nintendo reinvented Donkey Kong's whole persona as maybe more of a serious character, I guess, into like a really goofy character now, and I absolutely love it, and I think they nailed it on the head, and I think this is the perfect way to reshape Donkey Kong's personality, especially playing off Pauline and their relationship. They have something really special here. Even though I have personally not beat the game yet, I just had to talk about the game, but from looking online, for what I could find, is the playtime is between 14 to 18 hours, but that's just if you're running through the story. You could easily spend double that amount of time, maybe even more if you're going to be a completionist, because there is truly so many things to find, and it never really feels like a chore. And again, I think that's really special. And I know it's not like the most professional way to label something, but they got a certified hood classic on their hands, man. This is something that's going to be special this year and next year and in 5 years and in 10 years and in 20 years. It's going to stand the test of time, and we're going to look at it at the point where the Donkey Kong franchise veered off in a new path, and that path was on to something incredible. So yeah, these are my thoughts. This is my review, I guess. In the comments below, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Have you picked the game up? Are you gonna pick it up? I would just love to hear from you guys. And remember, I will be streaming the game tonight, so I would love to see you there right here on my YouTube channel. If you made it to this part of the video, hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep our amazing communities growing, and I will see you soon in the next video. Peace out.